Hey everybody, welcome back to the podcast for our, I guess what we're calling the Frontier Season 2 like debrief episodes. Is that what we're going with, I think? Maybe?
That's good enough.
Yeah. As you can hear, I'm joined by three of the four cast members. We got Eden.
Hello.
We got Amy.
Hello.
And we got Mark.
Good evening, or morning, depending on when you're listening to this.
Time is a weird soup.
Yep, and time is an abstract concept and history is an illusion.
So we're here today to look back on Season 2 of Frontier, which for everybody listening has like only just finished. Like 2 weeks ago, episode 150 finally came out after, and I'm sure this isn't the first time you've heard me saying this and things, but after a bit of an unplanned gap between it and the previous episode there. I think 149, when did that come out? It was like 2 weeks before Dragon Meat. Let me just bring up my website here.
End of November?
November 20th, yeah. November 20th, episode 149 came out. So that's probably a gap. That's going to be like 5 month gap, I think.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Well, what happened there basically was like, I was like, okay, that one's come out, it's good. I'm in a good place to finish up episode 150, finish up Frontier before I go away to London for the convention. And then it turned out I actually have stuff to get ready for the convention. So that week just disappeared. And I was like, okay, well, that's fine. We'll put it back to like the week after the convention. And then turns out by the time all the traveling and everything had happened, it was like Tuesday and the episode had to be out on the Thursday, and it was still in the same place that it had been in the week before in an unfinished state. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe not. We'll just keep pushing it back, I guess. And then real life stuff happened. You know, things get really busy over the holiday period. And then all of a sudden here we are in April. So yeah, that's what happened. And I do apologize. But if people are listening to things not, you know, as we're releasing them, there shouldn't be a gap between 149 and 150. But here's the other side of it, is that this is coming out in, well, let's just say end of April, start of May 2026. We actually finished recording Frontier Season 2 in June 2025. So it's been 10 months, nearly a year.
Yeah, it's been some time.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun to think back on it at this point to some extent. I mean, it's starting to come back to me while I'm trying, but
yeah,
damn, time flies.
I mean, and we did record it over the course of like 18 months, I want to say, Season 2.
I'd say so, yeah.
It was definitely a longer period of recording episodes compared to the first season. I feel like we recorded more.
Yeah.
With Season 2.
I have my files open here. The first session for Season 2, I created the project file on the 20th of November 2023. And the final one was the 9th of June 2025. So yeah, that's like 18 months, basically. I think, you know, given that, I think it was 26 episodes again. You know, that's...
It's a lot of recording time,
in fairness.
Yeah.
I mean, that's roughly the length of a Next Gen season.
Yeah, except they were doing like one a year and we did one in like a year and a half.
Yeah.
Plus.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. Exactly. That was their jobs, and we are all adults with adult lives to try and lead.
Yeah, these video games and Warhammer models won't paint themselves. I've got to have my other.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got to have my time.
Yeah, exactly. You know, Crimson Desert won't play itself. Damn it.
I have a good excuse though.
Yeah, you got a better.
Yeah.
I think you've got a much better excuse than we do now.
Probably the most adult excuse we could actually have in the context here.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
I had a baby.
Indeed.
Yeah, which, you know, again, I think we've said it at the time, but huge congratulations, everything.
Indeed.
Yes.
Congratulations to Amy having a wee bairn. Sorry
My
for the
wee
accent.
lassie.
A wee lassie. Yeah.
My wee lassie.
In fact, I think actually this was the thing. There was a little bit of a mad scramble to finish the season before you were having the baby, wasn't there?
Yep.
So that,
I think we finished it just in time.
It was the last project I wanted to wrap up.
Yeah. I think it worked out though. We didn't feel rushed in finishing the recording.
That's the good thing about it though.
Yeah.
Our recording style is that it all works out.
Yeah. In fact, like I said, the biggest issue is just me been not editing it for the last 5 months, really.
Yes, but life happens. This is the thing. Life happens.
Yeah.
Yep, it finds a way.
Yeah. So as it's been so long, I do wonder if we're going to remember everything. But I have my sort of list of episodes here, just to remind me. And I've realised that in bringing out my list of episodes, I've not actually really got a list of what happened in them. So I'm just going to use the titles as like a prompt for my brain to hopefully work. But in my head, I've kind of got the season sort of split into sort of 3 kind of main kind of storyline / arc things. There's like the getting into the cluster. There's the planet finding like the map and the ruins. And then there's the like planet of the Trill, like fake, well, spoilers. If you're listening to this and you haven't listened to the last episode, the planet of the fake Trill, like dictator. That's kind of our 3 sort of main storylines in this one. I think in season 1 we maybe had 4 or 5, but they were like, I think maybe a couple of them were like slightly more contained. Whereas this one, there's some like, I mean, what we're calling the like getting into the cluster was, I want to say 8 episodes. Let's have a look at this now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 episodes. Yeah, 7 episodes for getting into the cluster. Then we had 10 episodes of the first planet, and then the last one has been 9 episodes. So
the Trill, the fake Trill.
Yeah. So that 9 episodes. So like the actual arcs have been a little bit longer. But yeah, I mean, we kind of started off pretty much where we left off season 1, didn't we? We're like, okay, we're ready to go, and we're going to take a short break for other stuff, and now we're back, you know. But yeah, heading into the star cluster, and then we had a couple of episodes of like traveling up warp, which included
karaoke night.
It did have karaoke night, which was a highlight for me.
That was good fun. Mm-hmm. That was good.
Karaoke night was perfect.
Yeah, it was. I can't say it was much of a walk in the park for AJ having to mix possibly terrible vocals that some of us may have provided for that episode.
I think they all turned out good.
Yeah, fair enough. But it was just something really different, because I think with the karaoke one, you know, we've been joking about it. We were joking about it in season 1 that we're going to do a karaoke night sort of thing on board, and then I remember we were doing this kind of discussion before we started the recordings about other people on board. Who would be the officer that hosts the karaoke night? You know, where on the ship would it take place? And it was such a silly thing in the overall concept of Star Trek, because we are modelling this on the kind of the TV version of Trek, like Deep Space Nine, the next gen movies kind of thing. We're not doing it as if it's Lower Decks, but it felt like a very kind of Lower Decks type silly thing that we were able to put into an episode, and it feels like it actually works. You know, the editing and the pacing, I think it came together really well.
I don't even know if it's like specifically a Lower Decks thing, because there's definitely like episodes of like TNG and Deep Space Nine where there is like,
it's kind of campy.
Yeah, kind of campy. Like immediately, like the baseball episode of Deep Space Nine jumps to mind. And like, you know, you
Sherlock Holmes episodes.
Yeah.
There's hobbies on the show.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then you're Riker playing his trombone and stuff like that. And yeah, I think it fits into that kind of categorization rather than like, oh, wacky Lower Decks hijinks, you know, more for me anyway.
It plays in with Murphy and Ray's war kind of relationship as well. It's like that's kind of how they got through the Dominion War.
Yeah.
From Murphy's point of view anyway.
Yeah, there's a level of keeping each other kind of sane and kind of latching onto things, you know, that just are fun and where they can kind of unwind and not think about the stuff that went on during the war. But yeah, it's very much kind of I think what does it for me is, we're all Brits, shock horror. But I think for us, like, the idea of karaoke night generally in Brit culture is kind of a silly thing. If you're a good singer, the general rule is you don't do karaoke because you're kind of cheating. So I think for the way I'm thinking about it is that's why it feels like it could easily have been construed as a kind of wacky lower decks thing, because you were talking about the orchestral performances in TNG or the baseball game in DS9. It kind of, their hobbies and things they do on the ship that fit the kind of tone that's being sort of set there. I mean, Riker and his trombone, definitely, he's one of the kind of wacky ones because he's a lover of jazz. So yeah, I think in my head that's why it did sort of feel like we were doing a kind of lower decks thing, but it definitely doesn't feel like that when you listen to it, and which is why I love it so much. I think it definitely suits the type of Trek we're doing.
I haven't listened
the way
back
that
to
it's
it for
put
a
together.
while. I need to.
It's so good. It is good
because I had fun making it. Because obviously we did like. I almost did like 3 different types of getting the recordings done. Because Amy, it's some geographical distance, so it was like me and you did the recording over Discord. I think Mark, you sent me the tracks, and then I think I ended up like mixing your 2 takes together to get one that sort of
wasn't awful. Yeah.
No, not that. It was. I think it was just like a little tweaks here, like where you did one chorus like slightly more on the beat than you did on the other one or something, and I was just like,
yeah, I wasn't feeling particularly well that day when I did the recordings, but I knew we had to get them in, so I think I sent you like 2 or 3 takes, and then you pieced them together. Yeah. But that's the sort of done thing for music anyway.
Yeah, and then on top of that, I had my friend Teresa come over, and me and her just did like the other people's songs. Somewhere on my computer is the full recording of me doing "Staying Alive" by the Bee Gees, which I was like, I did it. I thought I was gonna do it like, just knock one take out because it's it's meant to be karaoke. It's meant to be like an off the cuff thing, and then it was 2 a.m, and my brain went, yeah, but you can do a better take than that, can't you? So what was going to be like 10 minutes, like do it in one, it'll be done, turned into like 2 hours where I was like double tracking myself and like just real perfectionist kind of like, this didn't need to be like this. I'm doing harmonies and stuff, knowing full well that this is going to be buried like at minus 12 decibels in the mix while we're talking over it and stuff. Knowing like, well, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to, I'm going to do it.
The thing is, anybody who doesn't know, AJ is a musician and he has done his own. He's recorded and mixed and released his own albums in the past. So when it comes down to doing anything like this, you have to have that kind of perfectionist attitude. And even for something like an episode of a Star Trek podcast, if there's music involved, you do it properly and you do it right.
I couldn't let it slide.
You go big or go. Yeah, you either it's go big or go home when it comes to music. So you're completely justified in doing it to that level.
Yeah, I think we're talking over the whole song, like in the episode, so you really can't hear much of it if I remember right. But yeah, I had a lot of fun making that episode.
Yeah.
And the fun thing also after that was then we got to have like, I knew I was going to do it where we did the bass recording of that, and then the cliffhanger ending was like, oh yeah, by the way, everything's fucked on the other ship. See you guys next time.
Oh yes, that is another fantastic bit of work that was done. The next one where it was just the disaster unfolding.
Yeah, but no, but like being able to like recording the karaoke one, knowing that I've got like a big like shock ending planned that's going to completely like flip the mood was like, and knowing it was coming when we were recording, I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be perfect. They're never going to see it coming. Like
it's such a great juxtaposition to have, and it's again brilliantly flipped, I will say.
I did enjoy doing that. Like it was kind of an experiment, the follow-up one, because it's still our shortest episode we've ever done was like the 35-minute kind of like just straight up basically audio drama episode with no GM narration or anything of like everything that's going on the other ship where it went wrong and that. And I just that was like I've been able to do some fun experiments this season, and that was one where I was like, can I put together like a whole thing where none of it's ad-libbed, it's fully scripted. I've never done really anything properly, like, fully scripted. Not at that length, anyway. And obviously there's a lot of tweaks to things in the episode. And we've talked about this before, where like I'll go back and like re-record little bits and pieces, maybe where I've ummed and ahed my way through some GM narration. So that's sort of scripting, where I'm going back and going like, how can I say this better? But this was like a full, I think it's like 36-minute thing in the end, which I'm super pleased with how it turned out, and like the sound mixing and that and everything. I put a lot of work into that. Because I was like, well, there's no narration. Everything needs to be done with sound effects and stuff. And
it definitely gives, when you listen to it, it definitely gives you that sense of fear and dread if you're listening through that episode. And if you're doing it, like you said earlier, immediately after listening to the karaoke episode, it really does throw you through a loop.
That was the idea. Does. Yeah.
And it's very effective. Very effective.
And I like the idea of like, you guys are like not in it basically, because it's kind of you're not on that ship.
Like it's kind of like a really solid step away from what we normally do. Like as you say, it was basically an audio drama, like much more where like I feel like we've got a decent sense of pace and everything, and like hopefully, like it's assisted by your edit in a big way, but like hopefully the way that we play, generally speaking, plays into the general Trek feeling of like, this is the pace, we know the beats that we're aiming towards.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily forced in any way, shape or form, because ultimately like roles will dictate the reaction. But yeah, it comes together really nicely, I think.
I think we've gotten better at that as well over the years. I was about to say, but it has been years. Over the time of doing, the game and stuff, and there's still bits and pieces in the edit. Like I'll often like cut down where stuff gets repeated and repeated and repeated sometimes, which is just sort of, I know it's just as we're playing, we're kind of reminding each other, because what in a finished episode might be like a 5 to 10 minute like quick conference room scene is generally taken as 45 minutes of of chatting our way through various like scenarios and plans and things. So
there is one example I want to bring up here. If you don't mind, AJ.
Yeah, go for it.
I believe it was during the set of episodes where we are down on the first planet, and we had a creature and an artifact taken up that was discovered, and we had them both beamed up for study on the Tenzing.
Oh yeah,
and there was a rayism, we shall call it, where I went down a bit of a scientific rabbit hole trying to do some tests, some experimentation with this creature against the artifact, and we went through this loop of me trying to explain why Ray wanted to do this, and the techno babble that usually comes with Star Trek. It just overtook us, and I think I was constantly just not twigging to the idea this wouldn't work, and then we did a whole sequence that you ended up trimming, which involved a sat down eating replicated noodles or something like that.
I ended up taking that bit
replicated ramen.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's just an insight. There are times when sometimes, and it's usually me, we get stuck in a plot loop, and AJ has to kind of cut things down. I think quite rightly.
It's one of those things
for the sake
of
the episode.
Where we're recording, like I've spoken to other tabletop RPG podcasters about this, right? And I'll like say like, we record like audio only, cameras off, and I'll get like a what do you mean kind of thing, and like I think it's a side effect of that, where like we've gotten used to it as like that's just how we do stuff. But we are slightly missing that, the kind of non-verbal cues kind of thing. Well, I think if we were sat around a table, it maybe would have been a bit easier to pick up, like, hey, this maybe isn't like a productive line of inquiry or whatever. And where we mostly, do our best to not talk over each other so much, we're kind of letting each other sort of say what our character's thinking a lot of the time, which is really helpful for me in the edit. We do sometimes, things go on a little bit longer in the original recording, and then, that's fine, because I can cut down from it. We can always edit around it, and we do. But
you do, and with the version that came out for that, the entire sequence where the testing ultimately didn't reveal anything new about the creature or the artifact, I think the way that you rescued that and trimmed it down actually made it better, because it's a case of sometimes you get a scene in a Star Trek episode where Data and Geordie do an experiment and it doesn't work, and they go, okay, that didn't work, I'll see you in 10 forward later tonight. And that's essentially what you did, and it rescued the entire thing.
Yeah, I know, but like that was not, I think we said it at the time, like, look, you had an idea and you were investigating it. That's not a bad thing, and that and everything. It just it's that thing of like, and we run into this a lot, don't we? Where it's the difference between we're making a show for people to hear, so we're trying to like even like you were saying, like we're trying to keep that right sort of Star Trek pace, aren't we?
That's it. Keeping the audience in mind.
Yeah. So it's like if we were just playing around a table, it would probably be a different case, sort of thing, So anyway, to go back to my point, like the main kind of things that get trimmed is like repetition stuff, like where we've maybe taken 45 minutes to, sometimes more than 45 minutes to do what ends up being like a 5 to 10 minute scene in the final edit. So what gets sort of snipped out is like we're restating things a few times over. Just I think 99% of the time we're just reminding ourselves as we're playing, aren't we, of what's going on and that. But
pretty much.
Yeah. So yeah, speaking of, so we had that kind of made it into the star cluster. The USS Nelson was badly damaged, and I think at this point in the timeline has been kind of where we're at now after the end of season 2 has sort of been stabilized into being like the beginnings of kind of an installation in that first star system. And but yeah, it's missing its warp nacelles and is like not going anywhere anytime soon. Most of its crew were taken back out of the star cluster because they were injured, and there's like a sort of, I think, couple of 100 people on it at most now who are just kind of doing some experiments, but mostly just keeping the lights running and doing what repairs they can do. But that ship's kind of in a bad way. It's got no warp core, it's got no nacelles, it's just an orbiting station at this point.
Can you remind us, Jake, the class of the Nelson?
It was an Excelsior class.
Crew complement of about 350, something like that.
600, I think.
600.
Let me bring up my. I always bring. Let me bring up my spreadsheets. I haven't opened these in a while. It's been 10 months.
No, indeed. So it's 100, roughly 100 crew left. Nearly 500 lost.
I have on here 750 plus passengers for Excelsior class.
Oh man.
So, yeah.
Ooh.
They didn't all die. No, you had a couple of. There was like 200 odd people died, I think.
Still, that's
it's still a lot.
Yeah, they lost their chief engineer in the audio drama. They lost their chief engineer and they lost their first officer, as alongside a lot of other people. So, yeah. It was a bad day for them.
So they lost the chess players that in the nacelle control room that Bond might have gone into on the Tenzing. Did they lose them as well? You know the joke we've been running with.
Well, maybe we'll never know.
Maybe we'll never know. Maybe that's why Bond doesn't want to go in there.
Just in case we lose the nacelle. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I know what happened on the Nelson. I'm not doing that. I don't know why I put that accent on. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I think that was pretty decent.
It's not bad.
Not bad.
I need the teeth. I used to know somebody who actually molded Ferengi teeth for someone's cosplay. Came out really well. Yeah.
Does it help with the accent? Because I might have to get some when we're doing Bond in the future.
It definitely did. It definitely did for them. Unfortunately, I don't know where that person is anymore, so I can't ask them for a pair.
Fair enough.
But they were molded essentially in real time. Pressed the mold to the real teeth, and then they were carved out with the extra teeth and the kind of Ferengi setup, and it definitely gave them the kind of Armin Shimmerman way of speaking.
Yeah,
because they were cosplaying Quark, and it came out perfectly. It really did help with that kind of the way they pronounce words. I don't think I'm
doing anything particularly weird with my mouth when I'm doing the Bond voice. Like, I suppose it is kind of like I'm kind of speaking from like the top of the throat more than anything else. Mm. Hey, I'm sort of talking back here. Hey, you guys, how's it going? It's not 100%. I haven't done the voice for 10 months, but yeah, it feels
it's a little bit. It sounds a little bit nasally, but there's not so much of that. It is like you said, very much coming from the roof.
Yeah. Well, no, not from the roof. Like from the bottom of the top of the throat, rather than like the top of the mouth.
I see what you mean. Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But either way, it's this series' excuse for me to make a weird little goblin guy who makes jokes. And yeah, I've got to get one of them into everything.
Quite often, though, he becomes the butt of the joke, though.
That's true.
I think in season 3, Bond is going to get a hero moment of some kind, and he'll stop being the butt of the jokes.
I think he's I don't know if he had a big hero moment, but he's done some stuff. He got to go on an away mission this time. Got attacked by a worm.
He did get shot at, actually, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I suppose that brings us neatly onto our first planet mission then. Like, first away mission of the series, really. Well, no, not the series, of the season. Where you kind of split into 2 parties here. A little bit of a peek behind the curtain. Going into this story arc, I had one storyline in mind, and I was trying to pepper a bit of flavour to be like, you pick up this thing, and this thing, and this thing. And I maybe didn't lean too hard on, and the third thing is the thing you should investigate. Because we ended up with one party going to the thing that I had spent a lot of time writing stuff for, and one party going to the thing that I had thrown out as like a random geological feature in the description.
Yeah.
And I had to come up with a crab people civilization to fill the gap in, and
yeah. This is
no, it's fine. No, it worked out because now we have a crab people civilization.
Totally.
Yeah.
Also, we had A and B squad.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think my team was definitely the B squad, definitely, because not only did Ray scare off the creature that we discovered, he also left a very inexperienced ensign in charge of the rest of the group.
Well, this is what I'm talking about, though. It worked out fine, because
it did work out fine, but I completely forgot that the ensign that was with the person that I said that keep an eye on things until we get back.
Oh,
was
the lowest ranked
very
person
inexperienced.
there.
Yeah, the very inexperienced ensign. Was it Ferrer?
Yeah.
And she was just like, okay.
Well, I think
okay.
Yeah, even not in like an in-story thing, I think it worked out better to do it that way in the end. Like, obviously, it sort of extended things a bit, but because we got those fun scenes of like, well, just from getting those fun scenes and getting to spend time with like characters who are not our regular main characters, you know, that's what I'm here for, the character stuff more than anything. And so we got a whole other B team, including like people who hadn't really gotten a lot to do really up to that point, or we hadn't even seen before. So
it was good because some of them came back from the Ensign games, didn't they?
Yeah.
So it's good to bring those characters back in.
Yeah, but I think in general it just makes the whole kind of like setting and like series feel bigger, so it's not just like the same 4 characters doing stuff every time.
Yeah, it feels like a proper crew.
Yeah.
And it's good to get the laughs in while we can, because what happened to the captain on your away mission, Amy?
I knew the second AJ said that the captain was coming with us, I was like, oh no, we're going into battle.
Yeah, I'm going to sit back and let you talk through how you nearly got the captain killed.
Well, the captain got bit by a worm.
Yeah, he invited himself.
Yep.
It's true.
He insisted.
I couldn't exactly say no. You can't. You have to stay on the ship to the captain.
Well, we hadn't had any combat, and we just switched to the 2nd edition of the game, and I wanted to see how it worked, and I thought, well, we'll throw the captain in there, you know, for drama. And in general, you guys took the worms down pretty quickly. You know, it was sort of
we did. He just too low to avoid one.
Yeah, exactly. So you know, there's some peril, there's some danger. And then we got to, you know, have you know, good rolls and bad rolls. We get story out of it. Is the way I'm looking at it. Because
you know, Murphy and him are gonna have that like little story though, and she can just be like, "I saved your life with that worm, sir."
Exactly. And then we got to have the other thing where like you get a little bit of a talking to from the first officer and stuff. So like this is all good. Like this, sure, he failed his role and got injured, but because he did that, we've now got these extra little story beats, and that's just fun for me. You know,
I did enjoy the bit where Murphy was feeling like she was for it when she went to speak to Commander Talim. in the back of Ray's head, he was going, "Oh shit."
Yeah. So we had a away mission there, and we found the galaxy. Well, not galaxy. The cluster map that was like kept in I think I had it as like a mountainside cave vault type thing, wasn't it?
Yeah,
And,
Bond got to open a door.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Doing some stuff. And then you found like the remains of like a dead alien, so you got to do like really got to do Dragon's obviously not with us today, but Dragon got to have a Reela do an alien autopsy, and you found like a cluster map which is more in depth than your the current astrometrics thing. So it was breadcrumbs. I was able to say like, here's some points. It's basically I gave you like, here's the map with all the points of interest on. Go go find out.
Goonies, here's your map to Captain. God, I can't remember his name. Captain Willie.
Yeah,
Captain Willie Stroller.
Space Goonies.
I don't know if there'd be Stellaris fans in the audience potentially, but it reminded me of like a quest point where like you gave we got the information from the runes and what have you on the wall, and the star chart, kind of as you say, and like that led us to these other points on the map. And in Stellaris terms, it's like, oh, you just get the plot points, go here, it'll lead to something. Wink.
Yeah. I mean, that's not to say that's like you can get, there's a whole bunch of other stars in the cluster. It's just on the map, these things are marked. So
that's it.
It was like a kind of, it was a neat little, I think, way for me to go like, hey, here's a thing you notice. It's marked in, this one's marked in a readable language for you and stuff. Just sort of nudge you toward that one for the next one, because that was what I had written next and stuff. But like it, I think it sort of worked out as a way to kind of move us forward, while also not being like, you're not on like, yeah, as you guys all know from playing for years, I don't like railroading that much at all. So I was able to go, well, here's the 3 nearest ones. Where do you want to go next? And we landed on the Golden Palace one pretty heavily, which was good because that's the only one I had like fully written out at that point. But
I did enjoy that one. That felt like a proper kind of reconnaissance style kind of integration mission.
Yeah. That's why I enjoyed that one with the series in general, is to be like, well, there's all kinds of different Star Trek episodes, aren't there? So like, there's all kinds of different things. Like sometimes you might be looking at ancient ruins. Sometimes there's like a weird cloud. Sometimes there's there's an energy creature, and like sometimes moral conundrums. Sometimes there's a first contact thing. There's all kinds of different sort of stuff to do. And I think for me, some of the best TNG stories are the ones where they are going undercover. Things like Who Watches the Watchers, Unification. It's just very, for me as a Star Trek fan, I think it was really fun to do that, because we were doing the undercover, investigate, integrate, don't give anything away, General Order 1 must apply. Yeah. Or Prime Directive must apply. Sorry, I've been watching Strange New Worlds recently. But yeah, I really do. I enjoy those kind of stories, because it's a look at, it's what the Federation is about, exploring, making first contact if the civilization is right for it. But when there's a mystery that requires you having to go undercover, I think those are some of the best stories that they ever do. Yeah, and I know we did kind of do like a sort of Prime Directive type one in the first series as well, didn't we? With the I can't remember what name they were offhand, but like the ones who had like had a starship. Oh yes, we had to move them. We had to move their civilization. We had to move the population before they got wiped out. But yeah, I mean, so that was sort of another Prime Directive type one, but I think they were different type of stories, really. There was more stuff. There was more stuff happening on the ground in this one, whereas I think in that story in season 1, there were things happening on the ship as well. Yeah, different. So we were jumping back and forth. Different. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But that one was good fun. Yeah, that was about the point in the series where I was like, well, you guys keep inviting Fel along with you. Maybe we ought to replace the voice of that character. Because up to that point, it was just me doing the voice, wasn't it? Fel, yeah, that's right. Like, because Fel was a character that originally was like, in my head was like, I had someone on the ship they might talk to or run into every once in a while, and that's it. And then just kept getting more and more involved in the stories as we went on. And so
it became our punching bag.
Yeah. And Sam from the Lovecraft Tunes did a really great job revoicing that character.
Absolutely, yeah.
We had a lot of fun doing those revoicing calls. So, yeah, who knows? Maybe Fel will return in season 3. But yeah, I think that worked out really well as a recasting, and thanks so much to Sam for joining us for that. But, yeah, that third sort of back third of the series, then really, where we made it to Golden Palace, and I think in my head I was trying very hard not to have it be like a Stargate planet, but it kind of veered quite close to that in a lot of ways. We had the sort of not quite a pyramid palace, and Trill being pretty close to the gold anyway in their whole kind of thing. It's like,
yeah.
I didn't think about it at the time. I'll be honest. Like, I didn't see the connection there, but now you say it.
No, it specifically wasn't on purpose. Like, I had an idea, and then partway through writing it, I was like, God, this is quite Stargate-y, isn't it? And then, everything after that was me trying not to have it be a Stargate story.
These things are the tropes of, like, just the way that societies exist.
Yeah.
Ultimately. So, like, you're trapped within that. And, like, I think that you've done a good job of, like, giving a very quick snapshot of this society and inviting a broader interpretation of what's going on.
Mm.
And obviously we've kind of come in and done our thing, sneaking about through the crowds, seeing what's happening.
Yeah, and I was able to do my other favourite thing when I'm running these games, which is put in an old man NPC who wastes everybody's time. Including the audience, which is, just for... I find it incredibly funny to have a guy just be like, follow me, and just be like hobbling around very slowly just to annoy everybody.
Is it offensive to say you do a very good old man accent?
Well, I'm working on it. I try my best.
Yeah. I don't think it fell too far into the Stargate thing. I mean, as Eden was saying just now, it is kind of in sci-fi. You do have these kind of stories where things like Trek, Gate, you go onto a planet and there's a civilization or a society that is seemingly happy-go-lucky, but there's some kind of oppression going on. But then things there don't quite marry up with what you've been told outside of that, and you realise there's more going on. So I think it to me, it definitely didn't feel like it was falling into the Stargate like directly, and no, that wasn't your intention behind it. But you are not the first person to do that kind of story, and neither was Stargate. And really, if you think back to classic sci-fi, I don't think even Star Trek was the first.
No, it was more that I was just aware that there was a couple of parallels, like I say, with the Trill thing. Because obviously the symbiote sort of thing it's pretty close anyway.
But generally, Trill are nice, Gawalda twats.
Well, this guy wasn't.
No, this guy was not nice, but he also technically wasn't the guy.
Yeah, and it would spoilers. No, again, if you haven't listened to the last episode, you've got this.
If you haven't listened, why the fuck are you here? Go and listen to it.
Go listen to the last one. And also, sorry, we just spoiled it for you. That was almost like I had that as the twist in mind from right early on, before we'd recorded it at all. Like, that was written in that this guy was not the guy, because I'd figured out timelines in my head as to when the ship had gotten there, and the whole kind of thing about the planet actually being kind of toxic to Trill. That was an early thing for me. So I was like, well, it's been so many 100 years. They would run out of at a certain point you're going to run out of viable hosts, and what happens then? And then I had the idea of well, he's not left clear instructions to his vizier, who then panics and is oh shit, what do I do now? Oh god. It was one of those that would be kind of funny sort of moments in my head. To have that as the sort of the twist that it's not the guy, it's the guy who was his thought he was in the loop for everything, as the kind of Chamberlain, like Jafar figure almost, or that, a bit not like scheming like Jafar, but just the guy, he's like right hand man, and then it turns out he hadn't been told really about the whole symbiote thing, and
he was a slightly more panicky version of Carl Urban's character in Thor Ragnarok. I'm just the janitor.
Well, yeah, sort
but
of
more panicky.
Yeah,
yeah.
But more just like I obviously we didn't see that scene because it happened quite a long time, years previous. But like the idea of like the the final version of Yule, like his dying words, like as he's like almost dead, like put me in my sarcophagus, kind of thing. Just a stasis chamber, and he's like, right, what happens next? And nothing happens next.
No, he doesn't wake up more deranged than ever. He's just dead.
He's like waiting for like the new face to rise, new face of Yule to rise, and somehow, and I don't know. I didn't really have like a timeline on it, but I wondered if there was like a week or so goes by and just nothing happens, and he's like, "Oh, people are asking for proclamations and things, and there's only so long I can sort of." Be like the Lord Yule is very busy,
It's again a little bit. It's a little bit like with the juxtaposition of the karaoke night and the kind of semi-obliteration of the Nelson. There was that kind of the same thing happened on the Golden Palace. Of the series,
we had episodes of you guys like wringing your hands and being like, we really need to take down this bad guy dictator and everything, and then an episode and a half of planning for the away mission, and the second you step into the room he turns around, sees a real Trill, and is like, oh god, oh no.
It's also again, spoiler alert, it's the bit that comes the episode before where we see the public execution, and you're like, oh, this guy really is absolute evil. And then when you get to seeing the guy, it's just like, no, whoa.
Yeah.
I'm just doing as I'm told.
Compared to his predecessor, he toned down the evil quite a bit. He just didn't really know what to do with it. Otherwise, and things, because he'd grown up in that society and was just like, I guess this is kind of normal, but I need to keep up appearances. Also, the whole
I think it threw us, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, the whole like immediately crumbling under pressure when faced with a real Trill who he thought was going to like smite him for his hubris or whatever. That was what it came from the same place that most of my plot points come from, which was could be described as, I think that would be funny. And it's generally where a lot of the stuff is like, just like, I think the reaction when you guys get hit with a weird twist that I've come up with, I'm in it for that more than anything else.
Yeah. And you've definitely surprised us over the years.
Yeah, and I don't know whether like that's disappointing to the audience to have this whole big build up to like what's going on with this guy, and he's got to, he's a real bad guy, and we got to take him into custody and everything, to immediately have the rug pulled out and be like, well, no, you can take like the dead guy in the basement into custody if you want. Like, he's the one you're really looking for. I don't know if that was like, would that be the kind of twist which would be like getting me, review bombed on if this was a TV series or whatever? But
I don't think it would, because not every. I mean, again, in Star Trek, not every story. It's not every episode has a big bad that turns out to be actually a genuine big bad. You do get the guys who have bad intentions, but then they fold right at the end because they realise, they've been caught out, or it's actually not worth it. The good guys are talking sense.
Yeah,
and I think so. I don't think that's anything to worry about, because Star Trek, as you were saying, it's so varied. The stories, the missions, they are all so varied.
I'm not worried. I'm just like,
I know. But I don't think it would. I don't think it's anything that should put the audience off, or I don't think it does, because you expect that from Star Trek. You expect if you zig, if they think you're going to zig, you zag. Yeah. And that keeps you guessing right up until the end. And I think it's a good thing that if people have an expectation of it and you swerve and you go, oh, I didn't see that coming. I didn't see it turning out that way. So it's not a bad thing at all.
Yeah. Well,
it's such a varied palette.
At the time of recording this, episode 150 has yet to be released, so maybe people have got this is coming out a week after I'm getting like just an absolute deluge of like complaints and like, oh, you took 5 months off and you came back with this twist, you piece of shit. You know, time will tell. But I'm pretty pleased with how it turned out and everything. But I think in general, as with season 1, I think while I do like the storylines, my favorite stuff is always just the character stuff more than anything else. I mean, when it comes down to that's my view of Star Trek anyway. Well, yeah, it's sci-fi and we're set in the future, and we got the big exploring big sci-fi themes and everything. But like, it's not really anything without the characters and like. Yeah, just having all the fun moments. Like we took a whole episode to do karaoke. Like, how is that moving the? How is that moving the sci-fi show forward? It's not. But I think it was one of the most fun ones. You know what I mean? That's yeah. And we started the series with me doing the season with me redoing the D&D intro from the previous D&D series, except this time you guys are playing it on the holodeck instead of it being like us playing D&D for the the podcast, because again I thought that would be very fun.
I love that, because it does feel like one of those episodes where a story starts and it's completely somewhere else, and then you eventually take they're on the holodeck. Okay,
yeah, and
it's good. It's good. It's a good swerve. It's a good way to bring it in. Life is carrying on board ship. The mission has started, but we're not there yet. What are the crew doing? That's fanning about on the holodeck. Why not? Yeah. It works.
Yeah,
I think it does. Yeah.
So I think that like little bits like that are kind of my favorite moments. Like being able to have Bond be like disappointed that him and Johnny aren't going to be roommates anymore, and Johnny not really picking up on that.
Yeah,
that was or at least not picking up that Bond just kind of being like, well, we're still going to hang out though, right? We can still be friends, right? That those kind of little bits, just like we'll
see each other in 10 forward.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, those little bits are some of my favorite bits, because I think that's kind of what kind of binds the whole thing together, really.
The relationships between the characters. Yeah, I mean, Murphy and Ray, they've been friends for ages, building up on their friendship in the way they like to jab and jibe at each other, but they also would, help the other one out in a pinch, at the drop of a hat.
Take a bullet for you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Kind of thing. Yeah.
Yes, and I've promised never to handle that coffee mug again. That's because it's very precious. Yeah, Murphy would rage if that ever got broken. But again,
or misplaced, or lost, or disintegrated.
Exactly. Just don't touch the mug. And then Johnny, he's not sharing with Bond anymore, but he's starting to come into his own. He's starting to grow as an officer, or as an ensign. But you know what I mean. He, as a member of the crew, he's getting more interactions, and it's good. It's the bits that Star Trek really works with, is all the kind of the interactions with the crew as you go through the stories, how they back each other up, how they get out of situations, the camaraderie. So yeah, it makes it.
Yeah,
like Murphy
really
gave
does.
him a lot more responsibility this time around with this season.
Yep. And it's interesting trying to take that on and then develop this character. And yeah, hopefully that's coming through. And yeah, it's good times.
Yeah. Well, not to put you all under pressure then, have you got any, like, and obviously with keeping in mind it's been a while since we recorded it, are there any favourite moments from season 2 that stand out? It could be like vague things or whatever. I don't want to put people too much on the spot. And obviously, I'm being the one who edits it and everything, I think I'm sort of in it a bit closer maybe. But yeah, is there anything that immediately jumps to mind as like, oh, that was a favourite moment from season 2?
I enjoyed the action with the worms and Bond kind of being in the mix with that. It's fun with Johnny to kind of have this. He's kind of like this part of a double act almost at this point, and to have this opportunity to throw him into the deep end where Johnny kind of swims quite easily by comparison.
Yeah,
it's fun to see that.
Yeah, to get him out on another away mission then at some point, or find a reason to get you both into trouble again at some point.
Good times.
Yeah.
I did enjoy like when we were like doing an alien autopsy, and I was just the horror. Like you didn't. I don't know if you intended it or not, but it was like almost like quite. It was very well done with the horror, because it just reminded me so much of like Prometheus and everything.
Oh, like finding it in like a side chamber and all that. Yeah, I mean, look, I was going for like a kind of a little bit
I don't want to go in there.
Creepy vibe.
I don't want to go in there.
Yeah. Like you found this secret chamber inside a mountain, and then there's like a side room that like pushing the door open slightly and see, it's all dark. Yeah. I was going for horror vibes in there. Definitely.
Oh, yeah. It worked. It was good.
Yeah.
I loved that bit.
I really enjoyed Murphy nearly getting the captain killed. I think it was... No, I'm joking. I think for me, having more interactions with Fel throughout the season, starting because she was there in season 1, she was part of Ray's department, but then in season 2, she's been there quite consistently since we arrived in the cluster, and going on the away mission to Golden Palace in the last bit, we were all working together. Definitely feels like there's, I mean, obviously Ray and Murphy have a good friendship. I think with Fel and Ray, they are colleagues, they work together, but they're both Trill, and there's a kind of an ease of working together, and it's nice to actually have someone else on the away team that isn't one of the main characters to kind of bounce things off of. So I'd say interacting with Fel a bit more has been one of the highlights.
Yeah, and there's a bit of a kind of I don't know, I think a fun back and forth there where you're sort of making fun of each other and that. Yeah,
they definitely do jibe at each other quite a bit. It's the idea that I think Ray puts across quite a lot, that Fel is maybe slightly unhinged, but maybe he doesn't mean it, but he's also kind of like, I don't think you're unhinged really, but are you? Maybe
she gets like, that was one of those things where I think maybe I leaned a bit like this. I don't know whether it was a mistake. I kind of leaned a bit too much into her, like going a little bit manic when she was not manic, but like, well, when we were investigating the worm that brought her back on board, I think she was coming across a little bit like maybe a touch too mad scientist, more than I meant for it to go, if you know what I mean. But it worked out how it worked out, and it was fine.
Yeah.
But it was sort of, I don't know, maybe like looking back, I maybe would have not had it seem quite so, we're going to do this and we're going to do this. We're doing weird experiments and stuff and everything. It just came across because we kind of came out of those scenes with everybody going like, oh, Fel's a bit nuts. And it's not really what I was kind of had in mind overall, but it's how it shook out in the moment.
Yeah. I think it's okay to put it down to Fel just being super excited, on a mission, got this strange thing that's been beamed up, that's been discovered. What can we do with it? I think on the away missions, definitely a little bit more leveled out, which worked in that situation. So maybe we can put it down to her being a bit madcap. It's the joke that goes around the science department, or a madcap Fel or whatever. But in the moment, we're on a mission. We're finally beginning this study of this unknown region of space, and she's got her hands on something almost immediately. And she's just like, okay, what can we do? Can we do this? Can we do that? Maybe. I mean, she's also younger than Ray, isn't she?
Yeah.
In terms of Trill. Yeah.
Like 10 years younger than you, I think.
Yeah. So not necessarily massively immature, but not as experienced.
Yeah,
maybe.
she's like not. This is the first host for her symbiote as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. I don't think you should worry about leaning too much into the madcap, because it could be just down to the excitement of finally being able to do something on the mission.
Yeah, I think it's just like, as we were doing it and that, I think with the reactions I was getting more from you guys, which was just like, oh, Fel, are you okay? And like Murphy having to be like, I know, I'm ordering you to do this and, go take care of yourself and stuff and everything. I think it just, as we were doing it, I was kind of like, this is maybe not 100%. It's more just like, it was maybe not 100% what I was going for in the moment. And I'm still pleased with how it turned out as a character kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Fel's great.
Like you say, as we sort of were doing the away missions, I think that was then ending up being closer to what I wanted the character to be like. More kind of a bit kind of snarky and not maybe the most respectful of like, talking to you with respect and stuff like that and things.
Oh, more getting cut off mid swear word on the transporter pad.
Yeah. Like that was more, I think, the vibe I wanted to go for with the character than
Yeah.
Like, oh, she's fully unhinged or anything like that,
Yeah, but that preview clip you sent to us in
it was at the end of one of the episodes.
I'll be honest, I was pissing myself laughing. I listened to it a couple of times because that was the first instance of the new voiceover.
Sam doing the voice.
Sam doing it, yeah. And I thought it was so perfectly done. It was just so funny.
Yeah.
I really liked that, yeah.
Really pleased with how Fella's character came together in that one. And yeah.
It's good to have someone, another Trill for Ray to interact with as well, I think. Yeah,
and I mean, who knows? We might get to a point where almost every character gets revoiced at some point, which is again going to, complicate my edits as we go forward. But I think it was the right move with Val. As the characters get more, Val, as I said earlier, was originally going to be more of a background character, and then started getting brought more and more into the story. It made more sense for it not to be me, because I think we got to a point where it was me doing 3 different characters in a scene talking to myself, and I was like, this has maybe reached a point where I need to take one of these off of my own plate here, if only for the audience sake, because it's still just me talking to myself.
Just slightly different regional lilt on your voice. Yeah,
and it does work with some of them. Like I put on a bit of an American accent for the captain, and I've got slightly different ones for Lady Rahl and stuff like that. But and obviously Bond is completely different and stuff. But when it's just me talking.
I dare you to give any new characters we come across a thick Scottish accent and see what Amy does.
See, I can't really do a Scottish accent. There's a lot of accents I can do, but I can't do Welsh very well. I can't do Scottish. Can't do Scottish very well. I can't do Welsh very well. We've kind of had some slightly Irish sounding characters over the years in various D&D things and stuff, which has not, I don't think, been too offensive. but yeah. But anyway, I've really enjoyed the season. I think it's been fun second season, and we have new places for the Tenzing to go when we I was about to say if and when, but I would really like to do a season 3 at some point. So when we come back, I guess. I have no idea when that will be.
It may be.
I'm very intrigued as to what might happen next season, given what we detected in the cluster,
or didn't detect,
or what we thought we did, or what we thought we detected.
I just remembered that was the big reveal from the map, was that the map had stuff on it that you couldn't see with the ship. So who knows?
Dun, 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 dun.
Tune in next time. Same podcast place, same podcast channel. Yeah.
Sorry.
But I would like to do a season 3.
Murphy's mug?
Sorry, go ahead.
I said, what becomes of Murphy's mug?
These are the real questions. This is what we need. But yeah, so I don't know. I would like to do season 3 soon. Oh, I say soon, but I would like to do it. I want to do season 3. That's what I'm saying. So I think maybe we'll just leave it at that. We will be back with more Frontier soon.
Indeed.
So thank you all for joining me for this. It's been fun to talk because we haven't chatted for a while, have we?
Yeah.
It's been a minute.
It's been good to have a conversation.
Yeah. So for everybody out there, thanks for tuning in, and we'll be back in 2 weeks' time with the start of our Fallout campaign, being GM'd by Eden.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. I'm looking forward to hearing what people think of it.
Yeah. Picking up after the events of our Fallout one-shot from the pilot season that we did prior to Frontier Season 2. So, if you missed that, now's a good time to go back and check those out. Was it 2-3 episodes we got out of it? Maybe 2, maybe 3?
I think it was 3.
Might have been 3. Yeah. So listen to that. Definitely listen to that first, because it's the same characters, and we refer back to the events and that. So that's your homework before next time. Go back and listen to those again. We had a ton of fun with those, and we had a ton of fun recording Fallout. So can't wait for you all to hear it. So tune in next time for that, and we will see you all then.
Yes, live long and prosper.
There we go.
Bye-bye.
That's a good, appropriate Star Trek-y Goodbye. See you
what else? What else can we say?
Be continued.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There we go. See, I'm bad at this. Yeah. Mr. Worf, fire.
Dun, dun, dun.
There we go.
Dun, dun, dun.